Well, hello my fellow car modelers, how are you doing? I haven't done a video in a while. I've been actually doing some model building on the bench, and I thought I would do a video. My audio, I'm having problems with my mic, so please forgive me on that. I'm using just the mic on the camcorder. It doesn't sound as good as normal, but it's better than nothing. So just going to give you a little bench update today. I just thought I'd just do some quick video, but things are changing. And what I mean by is I kind of have changed a few directions in why I was building this certain model. I wasn't really going to show anything else. I was really just going to do a quick little slam together model, and I've started really having some fun here. But I'm really torn between some things. I was going to use this model to make a series of videos. One was going to be decaling up this kit, showing you how I do all my decaling, especially this has a lot of decals, big decals. And then I was going to do maybe a demo on some extra parts for these kits that I wanted to show you. And we're going to still do that stuff. I don't know yet. Idea of this kit has changed so much as I've been building, and I've actually really been enjoying it. So I just want to show you more of what's going on with this. So we're probably going to be seeing videos later that are, like were started or shot before this, like the opening of this kit and what it originally was going to be. It was just going to be decaling the body, and I had shot all the way up to when I needed to start prepping the body and everything, and then I was going to come back and just with a painted body, and it was I was going to start decaling, and that's that video. That's coming later. I obviously haven't gotten to the decaling part, but I will go ahead and show you what kit we're building first here. It is the Salvino's JR models 2-in-1. I mean, it's one kit, but you could do either Kyle Petty's or the King's car, and I'm going to do Kyle Petty's. I've always wanted to do that car. I always thought it was cool when it had Uno on it. And there's really cool stories behind this car that even kind of a friend of mine is involved with the stories behind that car. It's kind of interesting. And we may do some videos. I might have him come on and we talk about his little take on that, because we might be doing a whole lot of videos on the building of Kyle Petty's 42 Uno STP Pontiac that he ran in the '82 season. So that's that part of the story. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. I got kind of a mess here, but I've been having a lot of fun. And I'm torn between some things, and maybe I need your advice on this. This was my plan, was to build a completely out of box. I wasn't really going to worry so much about the chassis. I wasn't even going to put an engine. I was just going to slam a chassis together, because my main point was this incredible body that was originally tooled up by Monogram, and now Salvino's JR Models have taken on the stewardship of these great kits, and they're getting them out to us again. So this is a brand new kit of a really old kit, and I've done a lot of work to this body, getting rid of all the parting lines, and whatever defects, and sanding it out smooth and getting nice. And I ended up knife edging it. I always like to take the look of the thickness of the wheel well out, make it look like sheet metal. I've done some videos in the past. You can see how I knife edge the side to get it to have a thin look. I love that. It just looks better when it's all assembled. And just getting everything all glued together and solid and ready for paint, basically. I was actually originally going to just buff this plastic out and use this already Petty blue body, but I decided I wanted to paint it. I do have Petty blue. I have MCW Petty blue, but I don't feel like airbrushing. I'm a lazy modeler, and if I can rattle can it, I rattle can it. Also, the fact that this wasn't supposed to be a really whoa model or anything. I was never planning on taking it to shows or anything. It was more of a demo model for doing the decal video, and I've always wanted to have that model on my shelf. So I thought my next best thing for Petty Blue has always been Tamiya TS23. I go to my local hobby shop. They are out of TS23. and there was TS10. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, my Luka NASCAR and other circle track racing, modeling, whatever group, there was an excellent post right here. Check this out. This post doing the comparison of different blues, rattle can blues to use to get Petty blue. Two of the cars was TS23 and TS10, and I've known other people to use TS10, and I mean, you can't really go by the cap, but it looks pretty close. We'll see when it sprays it. I've never used TS10 before for Petty blue. It's their French blue, and I kind of wanted to get this blue anyways because I also want to do later on the Piedmont car, and I think I was going to use this color for the Piedmont car. So I'm hoping that at least when I shoot this blue that it's going to be close to this color, because I'm going to tell you why. Now moving on to the chassis, now we got everything figured out with this body. I really started working on it and wanted to have it look, you know, a proper out of the box. I decided I really wanted to go this. I actually might end up wanting to take this to shows and stuff and get judged, because I personally think doing box stock is probably one of the most competitive classes. So I've been working on, you can see I've been getting rid of these ejector pin marks. I usually don't worry about those because they get covered by the tire, and if there's a judge out there that will know they're under there and dings me for it, well, that's on you. But if it's not seen, I don't waste the time on the work. Yeah, I know some people, well, I know I don't care. It gets covered by a tire. I'm not doing it. But if you're familiar with these, I'm still working on, I got rid of the ejector pin marks there. You can see they're getting pretty smoothed out of the fuel cell box here. Right here, there's always some right there, right there. We got a couple to get rid of. There's some really gnarly ones that are usually on this. Also on the front supports. Got rid of the parting lines and got rid of all the ejector pin marks. That on the front snout, there's ejector pin marks all over the place. There are sink marks, but this is where I'm very... Again, you don't really see those much, but that's always been a thing I've hated and usually filled in with monograms kits. It's just the nature of the beast when you're injecting plastic. Oop, there's a mark right there I got to get rid of. That's actually a glue mark. That's not a ejector pin mark. But I got to still do some sanding. I'm probably going to live with those because they don't really get that seen. They're going to be covered up a lot, and I'll tell you why. I am not going to paint this chassis. I am going to just clear coat it, and I've already clear coated this once. That's clear coated, and I'm probably going to shoot some more clear on it, just first coat of clear. And I'm just clearing it with this premium top coat. And I want to just, you know, it's something that I do when I kind of build just shelf models or just simple models, not putting a lot into them. If they're the color of the chassis, I just leave the plastic. But I want to take it to a different level a little bit, and I'm just going to clear coat it. It's something I've never done as far as that, clear coating them. I want to give it a try, see how it turns out. And I have been doing paint detail because I want this to be a box stock. So I'm not going to do any detail, so I think. You know, when we start building these things, I can't leave it alone, I can't leave it alone. So my whole plan was box stock, taking it to box stock class. Now here's my problem. Another thing I was thinking of doing was I wanted to feature a product done by our friends over at Savino's JR Models. Jim Rogers did a wonderful design of a really cool product that he sells, and it is a complete lowering kit for these monogram cars. And let's give you a show of what you get. I mean, you get lower control arms, you get the rear end, you get, you know, it's a little bit better rear end than what comes in, because you guys all know the rear end in this is half done. Let's look at it real quick. It looks great from the bottom, but you know, and you don't see it, but that it's kind of like half. It always looks like a half shot. You see that, but that's really how they designed it, because you don't see it, so they don't worry about it. So if you want to replace that rear end, this kit offers you, well, first of all, look at the springs for the rear. you actually get springs. And there's basically lowering blocks that you, look at that, the little lowering blocks for the rear end to put in between the rear end and those truck arms. These are truck arms right there. It fits on there and gets that rear end up a little higher. And let's get all this out and show you. There's a couple of sets of springs in there for if you want to even put front ones in, I'm sure, or whatever. You just have he just has extra springs, I guess. But there's a whole lot of parts here. Like, look at this. We've got the lower control arm and the spindle, and it's raised up so that the car will sit lower. Because one thing, when Monogram did these, they kind of sat really high. I've always had ways that I lowered these kits. I love giving them a slam stance, and this kit will do that for you. But that's a very nice lower control arm and spindle, and you get a little bit more detailed brake. You get your Hurst Earhart brakes, calipers there, and spindle, not spindles, but the brakes, the disc brakes. Here's the ones for the rear. Very cool. Here's your rear end. That's your full rear end with calipers already on it. Here's your third member. So there's your rear end and a few other pieces and parts. These are your, I'm not sure what this is. I think we'll figure it out as we work on it. Oh, this is your screw jacks. Duh. You got your screw jacks there. Your top and your bottom, your screw jacks. They go right down into that hole down there. So that's your screw jacks for your rear suspension. This is a pretty cool kit. You can go over and email Jim Rogers, jim@salvino.us, and he can get these to you. I don't believe that these are on the Salvino's JR Models website right now, but pretty soon I think they will be selling these on there. But check with Jim on that. But this is a really super cool kit. And I was thinking of kind of demoing it on this model, but here's my problem. I want to do a box stock. So I can't use aftermarket products on this because I want to do a box stock build. That's my conundrum. So tell me down what you think I should do, or I can always build another model and do a demo on this great kit right here. But at least I got to show it to you. Highly recommend it. I am going to use it, but I might not use it on this build because I do want this to be a full-on box stock build. The whole point of me building this was to do little demos with it, and now it's kind of turned into I'm starting to enjoy the build and wanting to be more than it is. You can see I already got the cross member all cleaned up, and I did kind of a dark blue. There's steering components, suspension components. Back then, Petty Enterprises would always kind of do this industrial darker blue on all those parts. Blue's a little too dark. It looks almost black. I might redo that. I don't know. But we got other parts to paint. So I don't know. I really figured that if I'm going to do that suspension work, then this knocks this out of the whole box stock thing. Then I might as well start detailing it. Putting engine wire, doing all that, start drilling holes. But you know what? I don't want to do that with this model. I got other models I want to get this done because I've got a really special string of videos I want to do on a particular model that we're going to go full on detail. And that's coming up a little later. So I got to do that after I get this build done. I just want to get this build done as a box stock. So I'm trying to hold back. I literally had a dream last night about this model, and I'm detailing it up and fighting with myself. Fighting to want to detail it. Fighting that I really want it to be a box stock build. Box stock builds are fun. And they're challenging to get them to where you can take them to a show and they be competitive in box stock class. That is my plan. And I've covered this before. Something, if you guys are familiar with this kit, I always slice off this piece and this piece are always together. I like to cut these off and mount everything here, and I'll get the dashboard in and get everything mounted. And I like to keep the whole roll cage. I'll build it up, but I like roll cage when it's all built. I like it to be removable so that I can get in here and do all my paint detail and have easy access to the chassis. And it's also better for painting because you paint this separate and you can get everything, get everywhere if you're painting it, which usually, yeah, we are painting these. I've been using the heck out of my extra thin quick setting. That's all the gluing I've done, and man, I've done a video on that. You guys say that stuff's not good, those people that naysay this glue. Look at how it's fused it all together here, and I get everything kind of melted into place. Love that stuff. So I still got some more work to do. We got a little more smoothing, some scratches to get rid of. Smoothing out of all where the ejector pins were removed. Parting lines, all parting lines. We got more parting lines to get rid of on this. We get rid of all parting lines. That's the basics of model building, even if you're doing box stock. I think it's important to do. That's just me. Not knocking anybody who doesn't do that, but to me those are the basics of model building, and I just believe in doing some work while we're talking. I just believe in covering all the bases, because sometimes, you know, I do like to go to shows, and I do like to be a bit competitive with my model building. It's fun. I meet great friends and I have a good time, and if I don't win, I could care less. That's not what it's about. But I like to get in the ring. To me, I think box stock is a fabulous class, and it's a competitive class. It's hard. You win in box stock, you really have to work hard, because you really gotta stick with your basics of model building. You gotta go real hardcore with them, because you don't got any shiny stuff like braided line and fuel lines and spark plug wires to kind of direct attention. You got to work on your basics of model building skills. So we're going to get that in. We got to get the dashboard in. And these were all painted, by the way, with, I love all these AK markers. Look at how nice they paint up. These AK markers are amazing. I really do hope that they come out with more metal colors, because I'm just really pleased with how they turn out. So anyways, that's about it. I'm going to go back to working on this, you know, because it's something I like to do. I don't know, I think we all like to build model cars. Why? Because they're fun. Go on over to my Facebook group. Get over there. We've got a Monte Carlo contest coming up. There's all the information on there. Just the 80s Monte Carlos. And we also have an all year round going on group build. That's a non-competitive group build. And you build all the downsized cars from 81 to 91. And boy, there has been some really cool models being dropped on that group. And it's just becoming a really cool NASCAR modeling group, and other types of closed course racing. Let's put this on and see how this is going. Ooh, yeah, it's starting to look like a real race car. So, go on over there, check that out. If you haven't joined, join. Answer all the questions, or you're not going to get in, and it'll automatically kick you out if you want to post. And it is becoming a great group, and we're having a lot of fun over there building race car models. So, let's get out of here. Here's the producers.